Okay, hello guys, welcome back to part 2 of our series, and in this session we would like to complete a few modification tools in AutoCAD so that we can progress to creating layers and doing detailing with what we've learned so far. So the first, we want to just go straight into it. So the first modifier tool that we are going to be looking at is the mirror. So if taking the assignment we did, for example, if you critically looked at it, you would recognize that it's symmetric, in that the right side is the same as the left side. So therefore there's no need for you to draw the whole thing, but you can focus on one side, either the right or left, draw it, and after that you just mirror it. So if we consider that, for instance, we have something over here which I can use, for example, for our mirroring. So if you noticed in the assignment explanation video, you realize that we drew just the left part of this and we mirrored. So now you can either click the mirror icon in the ribbon over here as shown, or in the command line you can just type mirror or mi, then hit enter. Then it gives you, AutoCAD says select the object that you want to mirror. So now I select all of this, then I hit enter. Then AutoCAD says specify first point of mirror line. This refers to where your line of mirror should be, and in this case we don't want any space between the existing object and the mirrored side that we are going to get. So it has to be exactly at the edge of it, so we can click anywhere on the edge of it. Then AutoCAD is asking you to specify the second point. So the mirror is, we mirror about a line. So you have to select another point along the line. So you see, as I drag down, it has mirrored it to the right side for me. So it has made a mirror of the object for me. So with that preview already there, I can just click, and it's asking to keep, either to erase source objects or keep it. And since I want to keep the source object, I'll just go for the new, and that brings me my whole full work without any difficulty. So that's it for the mirroring. We also want to take a look at another modifier tool, which is scale. The scale tool. If you noticed in the assignment tutorial, we made mention of a certain tool called the stretch tool. So you want to check it out in the assignment video. Okay, so let's go to what we want to do now, which is the scale tool. So as AutoCAD gives us a preview, it enlarges or it reduces selected objects, keeping the proportions of the objects in the same, so pardon me, after scaling. So scaling is reducing objects but maintaining their proportion, according to which they are distributed. So using this structure as an example, we want to scale it down. Let's say we want to reduce it. We've done a drawing and we want to scale it down. So I can just click scale in the ribbon over here, or type scale in the command line, or SC to scale in the command line, and that should be it. So AutoCAD says select object. Always be looking on the in the command line and follow the instructions over there. So now I select my object, I hit enter, and AutoCAD says I should specify the base point on the object or anywhere along the object. So it can even be outside the object, which will be used for the scaling. So you see, as I increase, I move up, you see the object is being scaled to a larger degree, and as I come down, it's being scaled to a lower degree. Else, AutoCAD can also request for a scale factor. So whenever it is requesting for a scale factor, the initial factor for the object is always 1. So if you want to reduce it, you always go in the decimals, so 0.9, 0.8, 0.7. But if you want to increase it, you go in the above 1.1, 1.2. So in this case, let's say we want to reduce it, so let's use a scale factor of say 0.75, and you hit enter, and you see, so it has scaled the original object down to this size for us. If you want to see the original object, let's type U, which is undo, and hit enter. Then U, undo, hit enter, and that brings us the original object, which is larger than what we just scaled it to. So yeah, thank you very much. Alright, so the next tool which we want to look at is the offset tool. And in the ribbon, this is the icon for the offset tool. And as you can see, AutoCAD's preview tells us that offset creates concentric circles or parallel lines or parallel curves. So it does so at a specified interval. So let's say if I have a box over here, maybe in my section, and I want to create several series of them, but in reduced or enlarged scales. Instead of using the scale to do it manually, you can just use the offset tool with a constant offset distance to create series of the same object without going through that stress. So let's just get into it. So you can either click it here or enter offset in the command line as illustrated here, and AutoCAD says specify offset distance. So I want to specify it manually on the drawing, so I click any place on the drawing and I drag manually the distance for AutoCAD to pick that distance. So AutoCAD has already picked that distance, and so when I move the mouse pointer inside the box, it's going to scale it down with that specified offset distance, and when I move it outside the box, it's going to scale it up exactly with the same offset distance. So that's how the offset works, and it can be also used for different shapes and different types of objects. So taking the circle for instance, since the command is already in session, I hit enter and it activates the command. My offset distance is the same. If I want to change, I can change it, so I can make it 250. Let's say 250. Then there I go. So I can offset it within or without, inside or outside. So either ways, I can offset it inside. I can also click again, offset inside, and if I want to do a series of them, I can be clicking the object and keep doing the offsets, so without necessarily having to scale or enter their skills one after the other. This should make things much more simple for us. So same can be done over here, same can be done over here. Yeah, so that's it with the offset tool. Right, so we want to now take a look at the next modifier tool, which is chamfer. The chamfer tool, and the chamfer tool bevels the edges of objects. and with a certain distance. So you can specify a distance and an angle, or you can either specify two distances, then for two intersecting lines, and they will be chamfered according to those specifications that you've given. So let's just get straight into it with an example over here. So just assuming this as a roadway, say a two-way roadway with something like a median within the section. You can take this row section and this row section where they join. Instead of making it this sharp, we may decide to chamfer the edges over here, right? There's also a twin brother of chamfer, which is fillet, which is mostly used when it comes to roads, and that is much more curvy, or the inculcation of radius or curves instead of lines at where intersections or intersected lines or intersected roads do meet mostly. Yeah, so when you click on chamfer, as always, or you can also type it in the command line as chamfer, and there you have it. So you see, select your first line, or you can specify your distance, angle, or the trim method, or multiple. So let's just go with the distance in the first instance. So let's specify the distances. So we are going to specify our first chamfer distance. The chamfer distances are going to be the distance from the end point where they meet to where the chamfering is going to start from. So the distance from this end point to where the chamfering is starting from is going to be the chamfer distance 1. Then the distance from here to the other chamfering start point is going to be the chamfer distance 2. So let's specify a certain distance. Let's take a distance of 500 for both of them. So now with that, AutoCAD says select first line. So we now select this our first line, which is going to intersect, and it says we should select our second line. So you see, when you even hover it over the second line, you see the chamfering taking place. So now that gives you a view of how it's going to be like, so you can appreciate it more. When I zoom out, it turns out our distances are really okay. Let's manage it for now. So with that said, you can just click on it, and there you have it. The distance is chamfered. So the actual point of intersection of these two lines is somewhere here, and it has been chamfered with the distance which we specified in the drawing. So let's try other methods of chamfering and also see. So when I click the chamfer tool, we can decide to use the angle instead. So it says specify the chamfer length on the first line. So the length of the chamfer on the first line. So let's specify a distance. Let's say a distance of 1000, and it says we should specify the chamfer angle. So let's use an angle of 45 degrees. So now we select our first line. Now we've already worked here, so now let's come to this side. So we select our first line over here, then we select our second line. So now it uses the distance that we specified and the angle to give us our chamfered view as specified over here. So you can just click it, and if you want to really appreciate it more, you can decide to just probably draw some lines and do some measurements to see what we've got over this. So I can do this, and pardon me, you can just click anywhere over there and you just hover around it to see. So you see the angle over here is 45 degrees. That's half of 90 degrees. If I turn off my auto and I come here, exactly, so that's my angle over there. That's 45 degrees, and the distance I specified, which was 1 meter, also over there, and that gave us the chamfered view of the section as we can see right over there. Exactly. So that is it for the chamfer. And chamfering also has a twin brother, as I said earlier, which is called the fillet, and they are all in the same button or icon. So you just have to click the small arrow by either chamfer or fillet to bring the drop down and get the fillet icon. They are all curves actually. So now let's try the fillet. So with the fillet, let's come to the mid section or the mid junction. So with the fillet, it gives us several multiple options. So now let's go with the radius. So let's specify a radius for our fillet or a radius for our curve. You can have a compound radius or a complex radius, but for now let's just stick with one radius for now. So let's specify a certain radius. Let's use a radius of, let's say, 1000 mm. And AutoCAD says select first object. So where two lines are intersecting, those will be our objects. So this can be our first object, then it means definitely the next one is going to be our second object. And you see, when I hover it around it, it fillets the edges where they meet with the curve, with a smooth curve, with a radius which was specified by me. So let's try that also here with a radius of, let's say, 5000. So try it whilst I also try it. So I'll just enter the command fillet command and go to radius, or you can type R and hit enter, then specify radius. So I said we are all using 5000, so 5000, and hit enter. Then you select your first object. So this can be our first object, then select our second object, and there we have it, smoothly done as per its functionality. So that's it on the chamfer and fillet. But as you always say, don't forget to ask us any questions if you don't understand anything, or if you want any further explanations. You can send your comments also in the comment section and it will be attended to. So basically that brings us to the end of the modification tools session of this training. And there was an assignment earlier on which we have also uploaded a video on, showing how the assignment can be done. That is just one of the many ways in which it can be done. So make sure you go through and go as you've gone through this one up to this level. We are going to also upload yet another assignment in our next video session, so that you can also go then try hands on it and send it into the email account which will be posted in the description, so that we can all access it and help ourselves. Thank you very much for staying with us, and see you in our next video. Bye.